But how this relates to you, I mean, everyone, is doing some sort of marketing. When you're here today, you're because you're meeting new people, and that's a form of marketing. And a lot of times, you can carry that same presence online. How you want customers and employees to see your business, and the message they use to describe your business is really important. Oftentimes, that's where this starts. Is how do you want your stakeholders to be able to describe your business? How do they see your business? So, I will jump in. How many people have heard of Google? Yeah. So, did you know Google's revenue is over $30 billion a year, with 90% of that being from advertising? Pretty interesting, pretty influential. How many people have heard of TED Talks online? Get some really good stuff out there. If you haven't seen it, check it out. There's a recent one that I watched recently, and it was Gary Kovacs. The younger generation spend 8 hours online each day. 8 hours. That is what they're finding. Or they're connected to some sort of device walking around. I saw another one that most people will have four different screens these days. So they'll have a laptop and a tablet and a smartphone and whatever else, fax machine or a copier or printer with screens on them. Remember the Super Bowl? 71% of Super Bowl viewers searched or Googled something as a result of seeing an advertisement. So they saw something and then they went back to their tablet or their smartphone or their computer and they did a Google search to look something up. Alright, so I'll jump into the mistakes that I see people making, and how this can relate to you is think of, your business cards, your flyers, your online marketing, whatever, this can be kind of used in a number of different things, but I see these mistakes very common when I talk to people. And also it's about finding the right answer, but I don't have all the answers, you don't have all the answers, Google doesn't have all the answers, your competitors do not have all the answers, right? But are we asking the right questions? Right? Does that make sense to you? So number one that I see is people will start a project without a plan first, without a goal in mind. They'll just get rolling into it. Really makes sense to write down your ideas for it, or ask somebody, so you want an online presence, so what do you want to do? And someone will just say like, well, I don't know, and so you want to get 10 visitors, you want to get 100 visitors, what do you want those visitors to do? Number two, is they'll see something and they'll like it so much, they'll have this really cool, thing, oh, this is awesome, and they'll just fall in love with it, so they try to express that to customers, but since they love it so much, it's easy for them to see the value and not portray that same value to customers. Or they'll forget to do their market research and find out if everyone wants this little thing, right? Number three is not understanding the power of design. So how something looks, the feel of it, the color of it, that can really impress a customer or a stakeholder. A way I like to do this for online marketing is if you're looking at a computer, a screen, and you've got a website or a LinkedIn profile, how many people have LinkedIn profiles? Okay, a lot of people are using LinkedIn to connect with people really great. If you can look at it and see the value in less than 5 seconds, if I can look at your LinkedIn profile and see your value, that's really, really good, right? Or if I can look at it from 5 feet away, if I can look at your website and go, oh yeah, they want me to sign up for their newsletter. Okay, I can do that, right? But if it takes me a little bit, it kind of confuses people. So which goes right into the next thing that I don't see is not asking the visitor to make that next step. What is the next thing I'm supposed to do? Am I supposed to make a phone call? Am I supposed to sign up for a quote? What am I supposed to do? People are kind of silly. You have to walk them through the path and say, all right, the next step is going to be, this. So that people really like that. Or the other thing I see is people asking them to do too many things. I want you to sign up for my newsletter, give me a call, and you're going to get this and that and the other thing. And number 5 is just simply underestimating the power of an email list or a community or a contact list. You know, that's a really powerful, like this right here, what we're doing right now is a really powerful opportunity to get to know people. So take notes, you know, write down people's names, phone numbers, your customers' information. If they're willing to give it to you, that's really valuable stuff. Not having a traffic generation strategy, really simple. Kind of going back to planning. Not using or understanding social media or how it relates to their industry. You know, so even if people say, oh, I don't really want to do that, okay, well, why don't you want to do that, and how are customers potentially using social media in your industry, and how does that relate to you? Do you have someone on your team that can maybe do that, or if that's not part of your strategy, is that okay? Number 8 is failing to track or measure results. This is kind of one of my favorite parts. I love to, as Dan knows, love to track everything and show them, hey, look at this cool graph and chart, and you know, so that data that's out there, being able to count it and really know that it measures back to the results that you want. Number 9, failing to create a system. And following up with customers is a big step there that I see is sure, someone has a business card or a LinkedIn profile and they're getting some leads coming in from certain locations, but do they have a system for following up with those leads regularly that's generating the results that they want? The last one is simply fear of trying something new. So when it comes to marketing or networking or doing a new flyer or a new pricing program, monthly subscription or something, you know, just coming up with a new idea, just giving it a shot. Sometimes people will brainstorm all year and then have one idea and it's like, well, we really could have launched that a year ago and kind of tested it out and maybe tweaked it a little bit later and kind of seen what the results were in the long term. So those are the 10 reasons. How am I doing for time, Susan?
Oh, you're fine.
Okay. Like how many minutes should I aim for?
If you finish up in another 3, it would be great.
Yes. Okay, then I have time to show you one of my cool charts. So I use this a lot. I just showed this to Dan recently for some of the stuff he's working on. How many people have heard of Six Sigma? Okay, about half, a little over half of you. So Six Sigma is a process of, or Kaizen, as they say in other countries, of continuous improvement, looking at things and how can I make this better? Kind of part of the optimization or looking at the numbers. And you can use this for any sort of strategy. This is the DMAIC process, which is define, measure, analyze, improve, and control. So I'll tell you a story that relates to this as I kind of go through it here. It's pretty self-explanatory, but first kind of like planning, defining what's important to you. What do you want to accomplish? And then second step being to measure that. So if you want 100 visitors, how are you going to track those 100 visitors and know that you got that 100 visitors? So you can 100% say, yes, I got 100 visitors. Analyzing it to determine what's wrong in order to fix it. And then, so actually I'll tell my story here in the green section. So I talked to a gentleman about his online marketing, and he showed me what he was doing. He did a great job defining it. He set it up, but then he stopped at the measure and analyze part, and then he was just looking at the control, the last piece. But these two here, for measuring and analyzing the results, he didn't realize that most of his traffic was going to a section on his website for his lowest margin product. Okay, and he didn't even know that, and how to steer the traffic to a different section of his website is what we talked about. So that was maybe, you know, kind of 1/3 of his marketing dollars wasted. The second thing is he's a local Madison guy, so he wants customers in Madison, but a lot of his traffic was set up to come from Chicago. And I pointed that out to him, and he's like, shoot, and that was another like 1/3 of his marketing budget. So, you know, imagine taking 2/3 of your online marketing budget, walking over to the trash can and just dumping it in there. That's pretty much what he was doing. So I kind of showed that to him. He's like, oh gosh, you know, let's take care of this. It's because he didn't measure this. He didn't analyze it to see that where the traffic was coming from. then you can improve it, right? Because then you can say, all right, how can we fix it so that the traffic doesn't come from Chicago anymore? All right, let's do that. Let's control it so we can guarantee the performance, and then come back a month or a year from now and look, oh, yep, the traffic came from Madison. So pretty simple, but really, really powerful. So I'll leave you with a couple inspiring quotes to get you to go back to work and ask those questions yourself, which is one couple from Tim Ferriss. Are you being productive or just active? The most important actions are never comfortable. Jeff Campbell, what doesn't get measured doesn't get done. And that's it. Thanks for having me, and
Thank
yeah.
you. That's very informative. I have a question, just in thinking about the target market in a geographic sense. I mean, in my legal business, for example, I can develop business across the country. So if I wanted to do a campaign in whatever, Washington State, can you help set that up too?
Yes. Yeah, you can
Great.
get very targeted with the demographic.
Okay.
Yeah, and the geographic, I should say. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay,
Good question.
I have lots more questions.
And I'll stick around. See you, Lori. See you, Nick.
Bye, thanks, good job.
But I'll stick around afterwards, and I'm always available for people to call me and ask these types of questions if I can help or steer someone in the right direction. So.
I appreciate that. I knew that Nick and Lori had to leave early, I'm sorry, but feel free to ask questions, to get more coffee, to get up and mingle and meet people, and a couple of you I haven't met I want to connect with and chat for a bit too. So just, you know, for the rest of our time here, we are open to questions for Nick, and just get to know each other. And thank you very much for being here. I think our monthly breakfasts are always on the third Thursdays up until November. So join